Yo, what is up guys, welcome back to my channel. As you've guessed it from the title, today's video is about Pandemic the Origins, which is a new game coming out. Well, I don't know when it's coming out, but it's coming out at some point in the future. It's a spiritual successor to the Arma 2 Origins mod, which we all loved and played. I mean, most of my subscribers played it with or against me at some point or another. It was also the most popular mod on Arma 2, I believe. In its prime, it had about 4,000 servers, I think, or something like that. I'm not really sure, don't quote me on that, but I know it was one of the most popular ones. And this was mainly because of the base building, which allowed you to to store your own loot, to essentially create a survivor village with your friends. You had basic houses to build and whatnot. This in turn led to like base raiding and fighting, which resulted in rivalries between groups of players. It was great, and it's a great basis for a game to be built upon. There were other great mods out there like Epoch and Overpoch and such, but for me personally, they got boring after a week or two. Like, you already have all the guns, all the best guns, everything basically after a week or two of playing. It was too easy. I preferred an end game to mine, and that's what Origins had. It had an end game. You had levels to progress, between 1 to 4. You could go either hero or bandit. You had houses to build. I'll show you here right now that there's there are all the different houses you could build. Is a level 1, a small garage, a level 2, a level 3, a large garage. They also ended up including level 4s, nests, which I never personally got because I didn't really like having my stuff too safe, which I thought nests were. The stuff became too safe in a nest. You could also build fortresses. It was crazy. Anyway, so I will play the trailer for you so you can see it for yourself. I'll also leave a link to it. There are different trailers in different languages and whatnot, I believe. I won't play all of it. I'll just play a few snippets of it because I don't want to, if you really want to watch it all, then you can go and watch it via the links. But anyway, here we go.
I remember the sounds of the sirens. People were taken away, never to be seen again. Never before has civilization been so close to extermination. The rich ones were taken away to Sector B, or as we call it, Salvation Island. And us poor people, when the doors closed, we realized that we're all alone.
Давай тут улазь. Ненавижу такую погоду. Надеюсь, хоть с лутом повезет.
Эй, Ваня, иди сюда, я нашел что-то. Вань, ты где, а?
Right, so as you can see, the map is still on Taviana, which is a superb map. It's a little bit big, especially with the introductions of the new islands that they made on the mod, which I hope are not in it personally. It was just too big, especially because the map only held about 50-60 players, which on another point I have no idea how many people, you know, the server's going to be able to hold, which hopefully is quite a lot. I mean, the game's running on the Unreal Engine 4, which is the same as PUBG, so I hope everything runs smoothly like it does on that, and that we can easily get 100 people running at the same time, because that'll make it so much better. I personally prefer gameplay trailers. They do say that everything seen in the trailer is in-game footage that's been rendered and recorded in real time, but then again, I just much prefer seeing gameplay. I'm not, you know, we're not seeing how combat's going to work or any of that shebang. I mean, but you can still see that there's a story behind it, which is pretty cool. I mean, in the mod there was the whole Dr. Ivan thing with the underground lab in Sabina, the Sector B island and stuff, which is clearly still in it, which I kind of dig. I kind of dig it. Well, I'm looking at the game features right now, and I'll read some of them out to you. I'm not really sure if the game is being a little bit ambitious. Like, it's good to have ambition. It's good that games have, you know, targets to set and whatnot, but sometimes there's maybe just a little bit too much thrown in there. Let's just say that. So right now they've got survival, scour the abandoned buildings for food and water, don't forget to sleep, oh, and don't forget to dress warm, it gets cold at night. Watch out for wild beasts that roam the land, everything from bears to boars, deer and wolves to small rabbits and birds, they all want to eat too. So I'm not sure how that's going to work. I hope that, you know, there's just not being too much thrown in. This is weapons. Always carry a few weapons with you because nobody is your friend. Customize them as you want. Attach the silencer so the zombies don't hear you, but you may not want to paint it pink so your foes don't notice you. Right, so in the mod they released, in one of the more recent patches I believe, they allowed you to like attach certain attachments to weapons and whatnot, which was talked about for a long time, and that was one of the biggest problems with the mod, was the devs promising so much and it never really, like, not even it never really coming out, it took so long for the stuff to come out. So I think at some points we're only getting like an update like once every like 8 months and stuff. And I understand that these guys are small-time developers, they're not, you know, it's not a full-time job for them, and all of that, so I understand that, but at the same time, if you want to keep an active player base, then you've got to keep pushing out those updates, and they didn't do that. Back onto some of its game features, another thing it says here is base building. It may be warm and sunny now, but winter is coming, so you better build a house, customize it as you want, make it unique, but don't forget to make it useful. Now, Origins had set houses, like I showed you in the screenshots. The houses in Origins were set. You couldn't do anything to them. You only had different stages you could build, so I'm not sure how that's going to work. It also says here, vehicles, all kinds of vehicles have been left to rust in the streets. Why not put them to use again? Welding some iron sheets on the windows will give you some protection. Why not add a machine gun and a plow to drive through a horde of zombies, or build your own APC, or even repair a helicopter if you have the skills. Right. So obviously there was car customization in Origins in terms of being able to put reinforcing material onto your cars, which would cover specific areas of it, like the engine, the windows. Well, it's just basically the windows and the engine, if I remember correctly. That was literally all you could do. So hopefully there's a little bit more you can do with your cars. They also did have, I mean, it says here, it's talking about clothes, about running in tracksuits will definitely be more comfortable, but in the mountains a coat will definitely be more useful. They had you did get cold on Origins when you went up into the mountains and whatnot. You needed warm clothes. Obviously you had your temperature drop and you'd end up getting sick and whatnot. It was never like a massive thing. It never really, it wasn't really something that was scary, but that might be something that they could, you know, implement in and make it a bit more of a danger for people. So it also says here, factions, look at the patches on someone's jacket carefully before you shoot them. You wouldn't want to shoot one of your own. Now, something Origins did was remove the set clothes it had for the bandits and the heroes. So level 1 hero had like 3 different skins you could spawn as, and you know, they were the same as level 2 and level 3, etc. In the end, they ended up changing it so that on your arm you had a little bandana tied around your arm that was either green for hero and I think it was brown or something for bandit, and it actually became really hard to recognize whether people were hero or bandit. The last thing it says here is dynamic weather. The weathermen are never right. It's better to be safe than sorry. You wouldn't want to fly into a storm cloud or get caught up in a snowstorm. I think dynamic weather would be great to have in game. I really do, but I don't know if it's just me who thinks they might be overreaching, especially with the small development team they've got. I'm not setting my hopes too highly for this, especially after the standalone DayZ game that just destroyed all hopes of having the survival game that everyone wanted. It ended up saturating the market with so many different survival games that all pretty much just failed. I know I am comparing or bringing up a lot of stuff from the mod, but I'm obviously doing that because I'm sure a lot of this will be implemented into the standalone game for Origins. So, I mean, one thing I definitely hope that I don't see are walls. I really do not like walls in Origins. It killed the PvP base raiding aspect of the game, which for me sort of almost killed the fun. It was always so much fun having people attack your base and attacking other people's base, and it always made it so tense, opening your house and hoping you don't get shot, or going to someone's base and possibly getting one of the houses open was intense. It really was intense, and it made the mod so much better than every other one for me. A lot of my friends who played the game would agree that the base raiding aspect of it was what made it so damn good. So I really hope I don't see walls and stuff, because your base should never really be too safe on it. I know I've said hope and hopefully a lot in this video, and that is generally because I have hopes for this game. Like, Origins was my favourite mod. It was probably my favourite game ever to date to play. I've definitely put the most hours into the Origins mod of any game I've ever played, 100%. And that's why I've got, saying hopefully and hopeful. I'm hopeful and etc. because I want this to be good. I want this to be great. I just don't want to set my expectations too highly, because I don't want to be let down, as we constantly have in the survival genre. So hopefully the development team hit this right on the head. They absolutely nail it and they get it right. So to recap, the Origins standalone game, Pandemic, it has the great basis for the makings of a great game. It's got Taviana, which is an amazing map. It's got the base building, it's got the PvP aspect with the base building, all the sort of bandit and hero tiers in it, with their promises of dynamic weather, the customization they're offering, everything. It sounds like it's going to be amazing. They just need to make sure that they, one, increase their development team, because the mod was incredibly slow at releasing updates. There was such a small group of people, so hopefully they can do that. They need to live up to the promises they've made. They need to actually produce those end results that they've promised everyone, because that's what we all want to see. They don't need to be a cash grab. Hopefully they're not in it just for the money. They don't release some sort of pre-fucking alpha or alpha version for people to buy and all that crap. Like, they just give us a solid game that we want. We need it to come out sort of soonish. Like, I know I don't want to rush it. I mean, most people wouldn't want to rush it and stuff, but I mean, how many times was DayZ delayed, the standalone and whatnot? It just ends up becoming irrelevant, especially now with the survival genre being kind of dead. It needs to sort of come out soonish, whilst people are picking up on this trailer hype and whatnot. So hopefully it's not going to take years and years for it to come out. So yeah, it's just it looks like it's going to be, sounds like it's going to be good, rather. It just needs to maybe just actually live up to its promises. Also, I mean, personally, I don't want to see walls. I don't want to see any of that crap. It shouldn't be overly hard for people to get into. Like, I like an endgame and I like a struggle, but a lot of Origins is based around PvP. A lot of people seem to differ with that opinion, but I think most of it is PvP and base raiding. So hopefully it's not too much of it is focused around just eating and drinking the whole time, because it's ridiculous how much you have to eat and drink on the Origins mod, and repairing vehicles takes forever. Which, I mean, I can sort of dig vehicles being hard to find and whatnot, but the problem is Tavion is such a big map. It really is a big map, so it can't be too hard to repair vehicles and whatnot, because getting from one side to the other is such a pain. It's literally a running simulator without vehicles, so there needs to be plenty of vehicles, easy access to the vehicles, and yeah. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. This is just my take on Origins. As a person who's played it a lot, these are some of the things that I want to see and some of the hopes I have for the game. I'll leave links to the Pandemik websites and the Patreon for it as well, so you can go and support it if that's what you want to do. Everything sounds good. Let's just hope it can live up to it. So I hope I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.